Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for calling in to our weekly Dreamers in Action team call. I literally look forward to Tuesday nights because I just get to see all of your faces outside of comments and Facebook threads or text messages and actually get to see you and kind of get little snapshots of what your life looks like on a Tuesday night. But I have to tell you selfishly, I am fired up for this call. I think it's probably one of the best training topics that we can ever do, and it's like you can't ever do it too much. We can all constantly learn new things and grab new takeaways. So before we get into the meat of the call, first of all, happy Mother's Day again to all of you guys. I hope you had an amazing day on Sunday for all of you moms, and for all of you, chicklings or chicklets. What's a boy of a chickling? I don't know what that is. I was trying something cute. If your kid was a mom, so hope you had fun with your moms or did whatever else. I want to absolutely recognize Chris Marshall for recently hitting Crystal Director, my sister who went Crystal Director for the second time, Michelle Pina who hit the 5-cycle bonus, Bridget Bell as a new consultant. I mean, it's just really fun. And on a holiday when there's some people that just put their head in the sand and tough it out and do whatever it takes to make things happen, it's really, really, really fun. And really special to just kind of recognize you guys. So Rachel's not on this call, but I also want to recognize her as a 3-star Golden Circle. She did hit the 6-figure club, so I'm super excited that she'll be at that with us at Celebration, and just that she's the newest member of Start 1000. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's when the first time you hit 40 cycles, which is technically 6 figures between the ages of 18 and 35, the first 1,000 people to do that. So it's a huge, huge accomplishment. Kisa is a member of Start 1000, and I just was really, really excited to see her do that. Chris also hit the 5-cycle bonus for the second time in addition to his Crystal Director rank advancement. There are some people like Laura Lori and Alex and Melanie and Jen Fighter, and your enrollments have just been crazy, and I'm just so, so, so proud of you guys. So thank you guys for being on the call tonight. I know that Kisa's got a lot of fun stuff in place, but you guys, all I can tell you is get a piece of paper and pen out. We know that connecting, prospecting, getting third-party validation involved, every step of this is really glued to the business. So tonight's going to be one of those topics that you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I want to remember that. Oh my gosh, that was the best soundbite, and literally jot it down because you can go back to this and read your notes over and over and over. So with no further ado, I want to invite Kisa Maxwell to the call. She's a 1-star Crystal Executive, 3-star Golden Circle. She's a member of Start 1000. She is a mama. She's a great leader on this team. She's a great friend. She's a great daughter. She brings the fun factor to the Dreamers team. For those of you that know the color code, she helps us stay orange because I'm quite red, that we all embrace her yellow. So I'm super excited to have her teach our call tonight. So Ms. Kisa, I'm going to mute and let you take it away.
Well, thank you. Congrats to everybody on the rank advancements this week, especially Rachel, Start 1000. I know she worked super, super hard for that. So we, we're missing her tonight, but super proud of her. So before we get started on the call, I've got a couple of people that I want to hop out and do some testimonials. So the first person that I want to welcome is going to be Kelsey. Her and I met through her mom, who's a good friend of mine, and she hopped in and has had a great product experience. She also just became a consultant a couple weeks ago, helping a friend of hers and her aunt also get started on the product. So I see you, Kelsey. If you want to just hop out and give us your 30-second product testimonial, that would be amazing.
Hi, guys. I'm Kelsey, as she just said. I joined about 3 months ago, and before I started, I was super, super, super low energy, and I kind of didn't find my fit in a program that I really wanted to do. And Kisa kind of helped me, figure out what I wanted to focus on and, put all my energy into. And this has helped me tremendously over the last 3 months. I've lost about 15 pounds, just kind of sticking to my regimen, doing the shakes, doing the cleanse days. And I've noticed, a huge difference in not only my personality, but the way I am just day to day. I wake up and I am excited to drink my shake and, do the things that I, wouldn't normally do beforehand. I've totally noticed I've dropped a pant size just from, it's so easy. It's just so easy. I just can't stress how easy it is, to just stick to this. Everything tastes really good, which makes it easier. I know I've done a bunch of different programs, and sometimes the shakes don't taste good, and it's hard to like stomach them down and stuff like that. So I definitely would. I'm definitely happy, and I'm happier that I've done this, and I have Kisa to thank for that, for sure.
Yay! Thank you so much for telling it. And she just went to Vegas. This is probably one of her driving factors for wanting to do the program. Was she went to Vegas for her birthday last month and was on stage in her bathing suit with who was on stage? I forget.
Flo Rida,
Yeah.
Flavor Flav, and Rob Gronkowski from the Patriots. So that was kind of a big deal. Yeah.
She had a blast, and I definitely know that confidence was up from Isagenix on her birthday. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
You're welcome.
Okay, so next testimonial is going to be our newest Crystal Director, Chris Marshall.
Hey, Kisa, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Doing great. So excited to be here.
Yay, excited to have you on.
Cool. So, before I found Isagenix or Isagenix found me, I had a very successful computer software business, which I still run. The money's really good, but as soon as I take a day off or go on vacation or stop to help my family, the money stops instantly. And, the older I get, the more I want something where it can keep going. So I'm going to do a screen share. Hopefully you can see what I'm about to share. Can you guys see that? It's a sailboat on the Nile River.
No.
Maybe you can.
I don't know if you can do the screen share. Oh.
Here we go.
So I was in Egypt the last half of March, and I'm sitting in a sailboat just like that on the Nile River, and I get a text from Isagenix that I just gotten my largest commission in weeks. And what I thought was really amazing is my computer business was completely dead while I was on vacation because I didn't take my laptop and I didn't want to. But here I am, people are eating while I'm on vacation. I mean, without even asking my permission, they're eating and ordering things and I'm getting paid. And I'm like, this is the world's coolest thing. So that's my quick story about an income that truly is residual and goes all the time, even when you're all over the world. So let's see if I can turn off the screen share. Oh, there we go. How's that?
Perfect. Awesome. I love it. And just so you guys know, if you guys don't know what director is, it's when you've created 6 consultants. And our company just had a crystal reset. So anyone that was out of their time frame to hit it had their time frame extended. And Chris definitely did that with some time to spare. So congratulations to you. The last person I want to have hop out is going to do our product spotlight tonight, and that is Tracy. Tracy, I see you. You can go ahead and unmute.
Hello, everybody. I am so glad to be here. Our product spotlight tonight is Rejuvenity Hand and Body Cream. It is a cream. It's not a lotion. It's a rich formula, and it was designed to provide a deep, all-day moisturizing for your skin, and it does that with 2 primary products. It does that with antioxidants, and it does it with botanicals. Some of the botanicals that it uses are vitamin E, green tea, pomegranate, grapeseed, cucumber, and some others. There's 2 other primary things that this product does. It's a quick absorbing, and it's hydrating. And the hydrating component of it is very important. It does that with shea butter, almond oil, and sunflower oil. And when your skin is hydrated properly, it allows your skin to function at its best and at its peak performance. And if you take care of your skin today, you all know what it's going to be like tomorrow. You have a better chance of having your skin looking healthy and glowing and radiant and all of that. There's a couple of other things I wanted to highlight about this product that I think really just exemplifies and shows what kind of a company Isagenix is, how responsible that they are, and their integrity. And I really like that about this product. This product is paraben-free, it's cruelty-free, and it's fragrance-free. And parabens, for those of you that might not know, are in all kinds of products. They're in all your cosmetics. They're in anything that could get mold, could, you know, fall apart, disintegrate, go bad, whatever you want to call it. But through research and studies, parabens have been linked to breast cancer. And they're finding these parabens in breast cancer tumors, both in men and women. And so I think that's really nice that Isagenix has done a paraben-free product. They are cruelty-free, so there's no animal testing on this product as well. And that's important for me. I'm a huge animal lover and advocate, and I think that's awesome. And it's fragrance-free. So what they've chosen to do is infuse this product with essential oils, citric essential oils. And so it's got kind of a grapefruit citrus flavor to it, or scent to it. And I think that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Tracy. You know, I feel like I learn something new every time we do these product spotlights. And I absolutely love I love it. Like, I just absolutely love this product. So, but there were some things about it that I didn't know. So I appreciate you telling us. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. Anyone who's not muted, just make sure that you mute, and then I'm going to go ahead and get started. So tonight we're going to talk about connecting, a little bit different than just connecting initially with people. I'm going to talk about connecting with people after they've expressed an interest in Isagenix. So when I first started Isagenix, I was introduced by Lauren, and it was just almost exactly 3 years ago that I started using Isagenix for the products. But, you know, she really did drive home the point about the opportunity on, you know, the 11 phone conversations or messages that we had prior to me actually enrolling. So I knew already that there was this financial opportunity. So after I enrolled, you know, it was something that was important to me to try to get my products paid for and to grab my first 2 people. But like most people, when we start with this, we are kind of a verbal vomiter. We make things really awkward and weird. We don't know how to approach people. We feel really salesy, or, you know, it's just something that doesn't typically come natural to a lot of people, and that was me for sure. Even though I had a sales background, I still laugh at myself for how I started kind of reacting in the beginning. And so I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about that story, because I'm sure a lot of you will be able to relate. I thought a 3-way call sounded really weird. I was like, no one's going to want to get on the phone with me and this girl that I know from high school, even though she's very educated. It just sounded so bizarre. And so what I did was, you know, after I started posting a little bit on Facebook, people would comment or they would message me and ask me what I was doing. And instead of taking her advice and being coachable, I figured, like, I could figure this out. I don't want to get people on the phone call. So I'm just going to message. It's easier because I had a full-time job at that point. So, you know, there was very few points in the day where I could get on the phone and actually talk to someone. So I spent a lot of time on Facebook Messenger, and I will tell you, it did not pay off very well. You just start talking to people, they're asking what you're doing, so you're going back and forth, and then it gets to that awkward point where they're asking how much it costs. Well, it's really hard to show someone the value of something when it's just over typing. You know, when you can listen to someone's voice and you can hear the excitement in their voice, no matter how little they know about what it is that they're doing, it makes a world of difference. Plus, you can't overcome objections on a message typically. So that was where I'd always get stuck. I'd get stuck at the point of, well, how much does it cost? And then I'd say, well, let me have you hop on the phone with my friend. That's awkward. So once I started to realize that I should be more coachable and would take her advice is when I started to have more success. So that's kind of what we're going to start off talking about tonight. So typically, if you're posting on social media, you know, you're doing it in a way that creates curiosity. People are going to message you and ask what you're doing. And so I found a way that is so simplified and so easy for everyone to follow, you know, no matter how much time you have, that really enables people to get on the phone with you and for you to not make it weird. So all I say in response when someone messages me about what I'm doing, and this is how I coach other people as well, all you have to say is, "Hi friend, yes, I would love to tell you more about what I'm doing. It's so much easier to hop on the phone than to message back and forth and explain. Let me know some good times for you to talk." Does anyone think that that sounds weird? If someone said that to you, would you be like, "Oh gosh, no way, I'm not getting on the phone with this person"? Most people would not feel like that was strange. What does sound strange a little bit is if you say, I'm gonna hop, can we hop on the phone and have a 3-way call? Most people get a little bit, standoffish about that. So that's why it's easier just to leave that 3-way call portion out of it. And then what happens usually is, I know that there are some leaders that really like for you to figure out what time works for them first. But I know that that's sometimes hard to do if you're not trying to set it up as a 3-way call. So if you ask the person what some good times are for them, then you can find out when their available times are and work on finding a leader that has one of those times free for them to hop on the phone with you. And what happens on the 3-way call is also pretty important. So make sure you take notes on this. So once you have, I typically like to have someone call me first if I'm leading the 3-way call. So the person will call me and then just kind of give me a little bit of an overview about the person that we're going to have a conversation with. So just, maybe how you know them, what they responded to on Facebook, if you've sent them any information, if they even know it's Isagenix, kind of just an overview of what your relationship is with them and what they know so far. Then you go ahead and call the person. And the best thing to do is when they're on the phone, you just say to the person, I'm brand new at this, or, I really wanted to make sure that we were able to get your questions answered. So you always want to make sure you point that out. And that's really is the overall intention of the call, is to make sure that they get all of their questions answered. And so if you start with that, it really lets them know and sets the tone that you are looking out for their best interests. And so when you say that, then you can also say, so I've asked, my coach or my friend that's been using the program for such and such amount of time to hop on so that we could really make sure to get your questions answered. Then that makes it not so awkward. So I always like to make sure that people, one thing not to do that can sometimes happen because, you might be nervous, is you get everyone on the line and then you say, "Is everyone there?" And everyone says, "Uh-huh." And then you're like, "Okay." And then you just don't say anything. Has that happened to anyone on this call? Has anyone done that before? Had it happen to them? And it makes it really awkward because then typically the person who's the expert has to hop in and kind of start off the call, and it just becomes a little bit awkward. So I always encourage people to edify both people that you're bringing on the phone. The reason for the 3-way call is for that third-party validation, because the person that's interested or the prospect knows you. The leader or the expert doesn't know this person. So you're bringing all these people together for third-party validation. So you want to make sure you edify everyone a little bit. So let's say Lauren was the expert on my call. I would want to make sure that when I introduce her to my prospect, let's say her name is Jennifer, I say, Lauren, Jennifer, this is Lauren. She is one of my great friends. She's been using Isagenix for many years. She's a clinical nutritionist with a background in fitness. And she's actually the person that introduced me to this program. And so I thought that she would be perfect to make sure you get all your questions answered. And then I would also say, Lauren, this is Jennifer. She's a mama to a few beautiful children. She's a stay-at-home mom. She messaged me on Facebook. She's interested in learning more about our weight loss program and how to gain more energy. And I'm just so excited that we can all chat today. And then typically what's going to happen is Lauren would take the call from there. So she's going to be sure to ask what their goals are. Maybe ask like what she's doing for her meals currently. She's gathering information that will help to overcome objections later on in the call, if any come up. So if there's a cost objection or, a concern about ingredients, like she's going to make sure that she tries to cover all of those so that the call ends in an enrollment. So if you are the person setting up the call, I can't encourage you guys enough to make sure you take notes. I know that we're all so busy, and sometimes it's easy to want to schedule calls when we're doing dishes or we have kids or, we're running from place to place. But if you are, just starting out and you're learning, these are going to be there's going to be so many golden nuggets on these calls, and these are going to be such amazing tools for you guys. Because eventually you're going to be hopefully doing these calls for your prospects or for your team members and just the team in general. And so you'll want to make sure that you get as much information and you can learn just, how she navigates and controls the conversation. And really, when we're doing a call like this, it really is about them and making sure that that they're getting their questions answered, and that we make sure that the focus is on them. And so it's just something that you can kind of learn how to talk to people and how to navigate the conversation and how to get comfortable with it, because it is a little bit uncomfortable. I remember I did one of my very first calls where I was the expert, and I was so scared, you guys. I mean, I can't even believe I'm doing this. I don't feel like an expert at all. I was so scared of every possible question that I was so nervous about getting was literally all of the questions that I got answered, to the point where, and I'm going to tell you guys a little story, I actually pretended to drop the call because I was so freaked out about it. So when they say that like every master was once a disaster, that is so true, because we all have gone through things like that. So don't think that, you're alone in that. The other thing that is important to talk about in three-way calls is the compensation plan. And this is going to kind of lead you into creating consultants. And I know it's something that makes a lot of people nervous. Who is nervous talking about the opportunity? Anybody? One person is nervous. I find that hard to believe, you guys. 2 people? Okay. 3? Okay. One thing I didn't do in the beginning, because I was so nervous to talk about the business opportunity, was when I enrolled people, I left it at the enrollment. And I just figured, well, eventually when they're having a good product experience, I will discuss the opportunity. And that's really doing people a disservice. I think back, if Lauren had not told me about the opportunity to even make a couple $100s in the beginning by bringing on 2 accountability partners, I wouldn't have done it because I wouldn't have known. And then to become a builder, it would have really done not only her a disservice by not sharing it with me, but it would have done me a disservice, because how much my life has transformed because of this opportunity is truly incredible. And so, if you don't ever prejudge someone or think like they're never, even if people say they're never going to do this, 99% of the people that say they're never going to do this are the ones that do it. So it doesn't matter if they say they're not interested. You want to teach them this anyways, so that no one can ever come back and say, why didn't you tell me that I could have made $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, So I like, when I'm on the call with people, I like to actually tell them to ask if they have a piece of paper and pen handy. And literally takes a few minutes to go over this with people. But this is something that David Wood goes over a lot. And if you ever go to University in Action, he goes over the compensation plan and he wants you to memorize it. So it's really good practice. And it's especially good practice if you're on the phone with people, because you at least don't have to be like looking at them. You can be following along, but this is definitely something to practice. You know, what I let people know is I tell them that everything we do day to day revolves around referrals. If you think it doesn't, I mean, think about all of the times that you have seen someone make a post on Facebook about a restaurant or a skin cream or a tooth whitening. You know, there's just, people do it all the time, whether it's a hairdresser, clothing, gyms, massage therapists, nail salons, restaurants, movies. I mean, we are surrounded by basically word of mouth marketing, and that's really all Isagenix is. Something I learned last night on a call with Janny is she said, and I'm sure I've heard this before, but it didn't really resonate until last night, is that you have a 67% greater chance of success when you have accountability partners. So that is something I plan on using on my calls from now on, because I think that, you know, the math is helpful. So I tell people to go ahead and grab a piece of paper and pen, and you guys are welcome to do this if you're not super familiar with the compensation plan. But I tell people, when you introduce or refer Isagenix to at least 2 people with at least 100 BV, which is business volume, there's a business volume associated with every product. You place one on the left, one on the right. Then you get a little fancy title called consultant. Customer First changed that a little bit. Just a side note, you used to have one on each side with at least 100. Now you can have multiple preferred customers. They just have to total at least 100 on each side total. But you don't necessarily have to go that deep just on that first call, but just something to keep in mind. Isagenix pays us several different ways, and one of those ways is by referral bonuses, which most packs come with. So I'm going to help you draw out an example to this, and the money that you could make back to pay for your products if you choose to do so. And so at the top of your page, go ahead and put a circle and put your initial in the middle. And then draw 2 little lines, almost like you're drawing a little chemistry project off, one on the right, one off the left, and a circle at the bottom of each. And then what I tell them is, who are 2 people in your life that you think could really benefit from our solutions, whether it be weight loss or energy or sports performance or healthy aging? And usually they'll sit there and they won't say anything. I'm like, it's okay. Just tell me their name. People get really nervous, like they think you're gonna like pick up the phone and call them right then, which sometimes we do. But so once they tell me their names, I have them write the initials, one on the left and one on the right in those circles. So let's say they said Sally and Rob. So I say, okay, so we're gonna enroll Sally with the pack that gets the most accelerated results, which is the value pack. And that has an associated bonus for you of $80. So go ahead and write an 80 underneath the circle with the R in it, or with the S in it for Sally. And then Rob's going to enroll with the value pack also, because he wants the most accelerated results. So go ahead and write an R in the other circle and an 80 underneath that. We're going to help both Rob and Sally get started in the same calendar week, which is Monday to Sunday. We're on Eastern time. So you have until 12 p.m. on Sunday. If you enroll them both during that same calendar week, Isagenix does something amazing where they actually double your bonuses. So instead of 80 for Sally and 80 for Rob, you're actually going to receive 160 for each of them. So now you've made $320 just for grabbing 2 accountability partners and helping them enroll with the value pack. And because you have referred your first 2 people, Isagenix also gives you a fancy title of consultant and gives you an additional $50. So that's $370. And usually people at that point are like, wow, okay, like they can start seeing where the money is coming in and how easy that is. Sometimes I go into the Crystal, the Crystal Manager, go through Crystal Manager. It just depends on timing. But there is a video, you share, they share, that is very quick. It's like less than 10 minutes, maybe it's 11 minutes. That's really helpful. So if you guys are struggling with the wording or how to say it, or even understanding the compensation, the initial parts of the compensation plan, you can watch that. I'd really encourage you to watch it just so that you really get an understanding of that. Okay, so now once you've enrolled them, you're done, right? Like, you don't have to do anything else, right? No. A lot of people stop there. And that's, where some of us fall short in the follow-up, because we worked so hard to get them enrolled, and then we kind of don't realize what comes after. So we're going to talk a little bit about that too. So once they are enrolled, there are some steps that are really important to follow. And I've found, like, if you aren't someone that enrolls a lot, or you have these things written down, have them on your computer on a sticky note, or, on your wall next to your computer, just so that you make sure that these steps that you don't miss them. So when you've enrolled them, you want to make sure to either send them a welcome video or have another team member send them a welcome video. We've had a lot of success with these, just saying, hey, I'm so excited that you've joined our team, and if you ever need anything, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. Super excited for you. It can be very short, but it's just nice for them to see that there are other people kind of looking to their success and wishing them success. Also, make sure that you add them to our Cleansers and Coaches group, as long as they're on Facebook. Sometimes people don't want to be part of groups, and I totally understand that, but the Cleansers and Coaches group has so much valuable information. And, I think that a lot of people go into starting the program and they maybe don't even really know exactly what to expect. So they think like they have to decrease calories a lot, or they have to eat super paleo, or there's, some things that people are very confused about at times. And so that group is really helpful just for so many reasons. I mean, not only do you have, you're encouraging people in that group and cheering them on, but there's recipes, there's meal ideas, there's help with cleanse days. We have a lot of posts about other products. If they start with a core pack, they may not know that we have a whole Rejuvenity skincare line, or that we have bars or whey-thins, or, there's just so many other things in that group, and there's so much value in that group. So I can't encourage you guys enough, not only to put them in there, make sure that they're in there, make sure that you message. There's probably 5 or 6 of us that have the ability to approve, but usually Lori Rizzo is the best person to message, just because she has access to seeing everyone's. But you want to make sure that you send her a message with the person's member ID, so that she can make sure that they are enrolled and she can approve them. And then once they're approved, you'll want to go ahead and introduce them to the group. Some people like to put a picture, whether it's a picture of that person or just like a funny meme or something. And it's nice to comment on other people's. Obviously, we're all busy, so it's not to be expected that you're going to comment and welcome every single person. But, if you're in the group and you have a couple minutes, just welcome, type welcome to those people. So it really does encourage them and have them know that they're supported. You'll also want to make sure that you send them a welcome email. We have the templates in the Dreamers in Action group, and I actually think that they're in the Cleansers and Coaches group also. But Lauren had created a PDF that is a little more extensive with the cleansing aspects and kind of the meal planning, and just some tips and tricks in there. And in that email, there's a template where you send their username and password to them. So it's just a nice email for them to get. They can always, even if they don't necessarily open it right then, you can refer back to it if they're struggling or having a problem. You can direct them back to that email that you sent and back to that PDF. And I always tell people before we hang up on the call, they don't necessarily always do this, but I always like to tell people, let me know when you get your box so that I know you've received it. And then at that point, we could talk about when you're going to start and when your first cleanse day is going to be. If they don't reach out to you, usually it takes 3 to 4 business days for shipping. If they don't reach out to you after 5 or 6, it's really a good rule of thumb to kind of make sure you reach out to them and just ask, even if it's by text or Facebook message, make sure that they got their box. And then ask them when's day 1 so that you know you're holding them accountable for starting. Because some people will get their box and put it in the closet. And you'll never know that they put it in the closet unless you message them and ask them. And I like to find out when people's first cleanse days are going to be, because sometimes people don't realize not to start off with a cleanse day. So they're like, oh, it's today. And you're like, no. You don't want to cleanse today. You want to give it, 3 to 5 days before of shake days. And so it's just really good to make sure you have that communication open with them and that they know that there's someone holding them accountable. It's also great if it's their first day or their first cleanse day to make another post in our cleansers group and just encourage them and cheer them along. I check in typically for the first couple of days just because sometimes people can have if they're giving up caffeine or something else is going on, they may have a stomach issue or something that happens in those first couple of days, and you don't want them to quit. A lot of people will not reach out. Like, you'd think that they would, but they don't sometimes. So you want to make sure that you are keeping in contact with them. Your job as their coach does not end when you get that bonus. It really is just starting. So be sure to reach out to them. And then typically, obviously you're going to want to follow up with them throughout the first 3 weeks, but then about week 3 is a good time to check in and see how they're doing. Ask them what they're liking and if they need help placing their auto ship order or their next order. I was always really nervous to do this at first. I didn't want to pressure anyone. So by week 3, I was like, how's it going? And they're like, good. I'm all cool. And then I just never said anything else. I never asked for that next step. I never asked them if I could help them with their auto ship. And especially because right now, I think for just a little bit longer, we have that 3 for free shipping. So they are going to get that free shipping as long as they place their auto ship orders within 35 days. So that's, it might only be $17 to $20, but that's still a savings. So you want to make sure that you're reaching out and encouraging them to place their next order. Follow-up really is key, especially for the few months even after, especially if they continue to order. You just want to make sure that you're really reaching out to them and holding them accountable and answering their questions, just making sure that they have a good product experience. And also at that point, continuing to talk to them about sharing or celebrating their success on Facebook. That's another thing that I really like to do with people. If they send me a message, a text message or Facebook message about their success, whether it's weight loss or more energy or a product that they love, I usually ask, hey, is it okay with you if I celebrate you and your accomplishment? And most times people say yes, but what's cool about that, excuse me, fighting this cold for a couple weeks now. What's cool about that is then when you can celebrate them, you can tag them on Facebook, and then their friends get to see that tag. And usually you'll find that there are people that are interested and want to find out what they're doing. So that's almost a way to help create a consultant without them even really doing anything. And when that happens, you just want to follow that same format with a 3-way call. But typically what I encourage people to do is start a 3-way message. So, if they have someone that's interested, I tell them if they message you or someone comments, just start a 3-way message, introduce me as your coach, and I will do the same exact thing that I encourage other people to do, which is going back to that original template in the beginning, which was just, would love to tell you more about the program. When are a few good times that you're available to hop on the phone? And it's just so easy, and that is so duplicable, is when you can then it's not weird. So if that's how that person that your cleanser got enrolled was by that, it's not going to be weird for them to start a 3-way message and turn it right over to you, because that's how they were brought into. So All right, guys, that's what I've got for you tonight. But I figured since we've got a little extra time, maybe we would open it up for questions. Lauren, is that cool?
Sure. Real quick before we do that, if I can just add one thing, and then I also wanted to remind, because I know we have a pretty strong California, especially Northern California presence, that on Saturday, June 3rd, I actually was invited to go help out with a Super Saturday in the San Francisco area. But it's with Rebecca Cafiero, who's a 4-star and also part of Star 1000, and Jason Liu, who's a Star Ambassador. And all I can tell you is both of those people are powerhouses, like amazing content, amazing training. And we're also going to be a pilot event where there's going to be live Spanish translation happening. So that our Hispanic Isagenix family is able to get the same training, and there'll just be people there. So that's a great time to have anyone who's, if English is not their first language, to be coming, and they're going to get the headphones that it's like live at the event, that they're going to hear Jason Liu in Spanish or whatever, which is going to be amazing. And then May 20th is Global Give Back Day. So Eric Coover organizes this every year, where basically Star 1000 people all around the country, all around the globe, have gotten together where we're contributing, that we're giving back and organizing different events. Literally last year, I mean, it was like Australia, New Zealand, I mean, all around the US, I mean, Malaysia, wherever we were. And definitely watch Start Page or reach out to your kind of local leaders. Anybody in Denver that wants to join me, Lori's helped organize. We're going to be up in Boulder at the MS Walk, kind of setting up, breaking down, cheering on runners, you know, just contributing to that organization. But there's stuff everywhere if, you know, you want to participate in that. So Kisa did an amazing job, you guys. I mean, this is a really, 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 really big inclusive topic. But the one thing I want you to take away from it is, if you haven't gotten it, is just don't be weird. You know, like we go into this and we start to make it weird, and then it gets weird. So if you act weird, guess what? They're going to be weird. If you don't act weird, they don't act weird. And so like Kisa was saying, like she was trying to Facebook message it, and all of a sudden she's like, hey, you want to talk to my sponsor? Like, what does that sound like? We don't even know what a sponsor is, you know? But when you're brand new and you can just keep it really light and really fun, and you're like, hey, like, I'm brand new. I don't really know much, but I want to help you. Like, I'm going to call you with the girl that got me started, because all I care about is you getting the right information, you know? And if you don't make it weird, and 9 out of 10 times, you guys, literally, I do 10 to 15 three-way calls a day. I think of the thousands I've done, like twice, literally twice, someone was upset that I was on the phone, or they were private, or didn't want to talk to me. 99.9% of the time, someone goes, thank you so much for taking time to talk to me. They're like, I know you're really busy. Like, I really appreciate you getting on and taking time. That if I share that with you, that's not to like say I'm the badass that people are excited to talk to. It's that like they're getting 2 for the price of 1. Like, we care about people, and that when you're introducing the three-way call, it's not that we're selling them or pushing them. We are literally trying to get them more information, you know? And as long as you set it up that way, that it's like a privilege, it's an honor that someone cares about them to talk to somebody else, it'll be helpful. And those threads, you guys, the 3-way text messages with enrollment, with dealing with a cleanser, with getting them to consultant, like with rank advancing, all I can tell you is I've seen more magic in the last 3 to 6 months of doing that with the business than I have the last 3 years. So Melanie, who was on here, I don't know if she's still on here, I am in so many threads with her team. But, you know, when we're dealing with an unhappy cleanser, we're dealing with someone who can't break through a plateau, helping someone to, you know, create a launch party, helping to create a consultant on purpose. Like, I'm in all of these threads just basically supporting. Like, Melanie's very in touch with what's happening with her team. Like, she's leading the way, but I can chime in. I can support kind of what she's doing. I'm in a ton with Adam Feichter as he's prospecting, and he's done the initial connection. He has done the initial relationship building, but then he starts a thread, you know, where he's like, hey, Lauren, I want you to meet so-and-so. Like, she's got this amazing business in health and wellness, and I think she'd be perfect for Isagenix, da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, meet Lauren. Like, she's in health and wellness. Like, you guys are going to get along great. Like, when can we all chat and figure out how to make this happen? And both parties are excited to talk to each other, you know? And we were just doing them with Rachel, like rank advancing. You know, she was in a thread with me and Kisa as accountability partner. She was in thread with Gianni, just cheering her on, building belief that the quicker you guys can get out of your head that these are weird and into stepping into that they are supportive, they are encouraging, they're motivating, they're educational, they're inspirational, they're informational, I promise you will see shifts in your business, you know? And I know some of you guys look at me as your leader. Some of you think like, oh, she knows what she's doing. I use them and they help me. It doesn't matter if I know all the answers. It's that support, that community, that team effort that's not only duplicative, but really, really encouraging to our entire team. So I had a girl recently, I was trying to get to consultant, you know, and I swear I told her everything about social media, how to refer people to me. And like, she was not budging, you know, and I was like, God, this girl's had a 25-pound weight loss. Everybody underneath the sun must be asking her what she's doing. And I had to like add him into the thread. You know, we got on the call. In the 5 or 10 minutes, I can promise you, he didn't say anything that I had not said, but she heard it differently. It was another way of it being said. What, you know, someone else reinforcing it. The girl went to consultant in 48 hours. Like, I couldn't do it on my own. And the more that you guys can do this and just plug people into it, I assure you, and the last bit of this is sometimes the person who doesn't know the other person, because they are detached from the outcome, they can push a little bit harder. You know, they can kind of be a little bit more aggressive to get it on the phone or whatever, because they're not personally involved. So, for example, I was in a thread with Chris Marshall and Lori, in one of his, you know, pirates, someone who had referred was one away. We're trying to get him to Crystal Director. And the girl kind of wrote, like, the couple that, you know, I thought I was going to enroll isn't going to do it. So she's like throwing in the towel. If it had just been Chris on that thread, or if Chris wasn't going for a bonus, he probably would have let it go, said, I don't want to push her, you know, she'll find somebody else in weeks to come. But I was in that thread and I was like, okay, well, who else do you know? Like, let's enroll your husband. Do you have children? Like, you know, and I didn't know who this woman was, but I cared about getting Chris to Crystal Director, and I cared about this woman doubling her PIBs, you know, but it took someone else to kind of keep the ball rolling and keeping it driving. So Kisa did an amazing, amazing job, you guys, from how to get the calls not weird, how to do the threads, how to talk about the comp plan at the time of enrollment, how to follow up, you know, all of those steps of the welcome email, getting them into the group, making sure that she's, you know, not cleansing her, you know, boxes in the closet or whatever else. So we can have some Q&As, but no matter what step in your business, from recruiting to cleanse coaching to rank advancing to dealing with unhappy cleansers, I cannot encourage you guys enough. Create the team support. Cleansers is good. Start the threads. Start the Facebook messages. This will be the glue to your business like you've never imagined. And the more personal, the better. I know that we do welcome videos. So if Kisa just enrolled Wesley and she sent the welcome email, she might message me and be like, hey, I just enrolled this rock star from Vegas. She's gorgeous. She's fired about the product. She's fired up about the business. Can you send her a welcome video, right? So I sit here, it takes me 20 seconds, you guys. If they're longer than that, stop talking so much. But I'm like, Wesley, welcome to the Dreamers in Action team, right? I'm like, Kisa's an amazing coach. Like, I'm edifying Kisa. I'm like, she's awesome. You know, she's going to coach you to support. I know you've got the whole team, but I'm here. If you ever can't get a hold of Kisa, if you need anything else, reach out for the business, the products. I'm more than happy to help you in any way that I can. You guys have probably sent 5 to 10 of these a day because our team's enrolling. Like today alone, I did one for Melanie, one for my sister, one for Adam, one for Megan Sweeney. Like, they're fun. And people get to meet someone else. And people are like, oh my gosh, that was so cute to receive. It's nice to meet you too. But they're plugging into that, you know, and sometimes I'll send it with the sponsor on there because now we're in the group thread. So guess what's going to happen? Because I've invited myself to help support them. They know Kisa, right? When all of a sudden Wesley, you know, had a bad cleanse day, she's going to go to that thread and be like, you guys, I really want this to work, but how come I didn't feel so good on my cleanse day, you know? Or when she goes, okay, so I feel amazing and everybody at work wants to know what I'm doing. What do I say? What do I do? Both Kisa and I get to chime in and support her and develop her together. So the faster you guys can start doing this, and if you're unsure, like, reach out, ask us, like, what does that look like? You know, I had the privilege and honor of spending some time in Phoenix with the Fighters and with the Loris and the Quinlans, and one of the things I was telling Jen, as I said, it's an apprenticeship model. Like, you've got to show people what you're doing. So if we're telling people just put them in the thread, they don't really know what it looks like. I'm like, the next time you do it, take a screenshot and send that to a few of your people. They see exactly what it looks like. And I would encourage all of you to do that. If you're doing this a lot, you know, Laura, Rachel, Kisa, myself, Megan, you know, Melanie, show your team what that looks like. Show them how you're starting these threads, either with the business or the product, because it makes it really, really duplicative. So you guys, I'm so proud of you for all being on here. I had to just chime in a little bit of that because as annoyed as I am sometimes with the amount of Facebook messages and threads that are coming in, because I did not think my phone could handle any more notifications. I track my enrollments every single week. Like for the team, I look at the members and downline. It has literally been tripling. So I'm like, bring on the threads, bring on the Facebook messages, because there's power behind it. So for 1 second, if you're like, oh my gosh, I have another Facebook notification, I'm in another thread, that is dollars. That is cycles. That is people in your team. Like, have gratitude for it, love on it. They work. So now that I'm off my soapbox, you guys can ask questions. if you want. Or if Kisa or Laura or Jen or Melanie or anybody else has anything you want to add.
No, I thought everything you said was great and helpful. No one has questions?
And I do have strained vocal cords. I was at the doctor today. So if I could text and talk less, this is like the first time ever I'm about texting. I'm going to get it on the phone. I'm like, no, I'm going to text and save my voice.
Nobody?
Can I just make a quick comment?
No, no one was
Okay.
learned from you.
Goodbye. So last night, Lauren helped me enroll somebody that I met on Facebook. Sort of a friend of a friend. I didn't know this person. I did a birthday greeting for her. I did the Rebecca Caffiero, like what's coming up in your world. So she's messaging me about this amazing trip around the world that she's doing in a few weeks and how she wants to get on. She's on some crappy diet. She wants to get on something good. And that led to a phone call, which led to a phone call with Lauren. And so you can message complete strangers and turn it into a phone call. And she got a pace setter pack, my first pace setter pack ever last night. And I'm so excited. And she's going to have good nutrition to take with her all around Europe, Iceland and Greece and Santorini and all these places. So she doesn't have to eat crappy hotel food every morning. And it's really going to change her world.
Awesome. Good job. I love that.
Hey, Chris, actually real fast before we close, I would love for you to touch on one other thing. So Chris went through one of my 5-week, small group coaching programs, and he was at a point, he'd done some other network marketing stuff, or, he, isn't always around a lot of people. I said, you got to grow your network. He's like, I'm running out of people to talk to. I said, well, start friending people because Facebook's an unlimited, amount of people to talk to. Can you just share with the team a little bit on how you're finding people, how you're finding them, how you're building those relationships?
Yeah, so one of the things I want to do is qualify for Team Isogenics as a distance runner, and one of the requirements is you have to have 5,000 followers on the social network. So when I was at Celebration last year, I had 1,100, but every time Facebook popped up and said, you probably know this person, you should be friends, if I have 40 friends in common, I just send them a friend request. And so now I have 4,800 friends on Facebook, and most of them I have no idea who they are. Last week it said, you ought to friend this guy, you have 1,154 friends in common. So I start messaging people on their birthday and just try to get it personal and try to get things into a conversation. But anytime I post a run or weightlifting or a marathon or anything I do, I get all these comments and feedback from people I don't know, which those are all opportunities to turn those into conversations and then get them offline.
I love that, Chris. And I'll leave you guys just one other thing, because we could do a whole call on social media and how to use Facebook Graph. But number one, don't friend the people you're preaching the choir to. Do not friend every single person in Isogenics. If they're legitimately your friends and you love them, and if the company closed, you still want to be friends with them, be friends with them. Follow them, let them follow you, but you're looking for new people, right? And so I did a call last night for another team, and 20 people friended me. I'm like, decline, because I don't want to post about my shake to everybody else who's already loving their shake, like Kelsey told us about at the beginning of the call, right? There are so many ways to friend people. I'm going to tell you a simple one. In the search bar, just like where you would type if you were looking for someone, if you were typing for a group, type in a really popular name, any name, right? Type in Chris, type in Jennifer, type in Megan, type in, probably not Anushka, that's not the most popular. I'm just kidding, I love you. Type in the most popular name you can think of, right? And then push search, push the magnifying glass, and it's going to populate. And the way it's going to do it is, first of all, people you're already friends with. Okay, great. Then everybody with mutual friends, like Chris said, then strangers. So I start looking at the mutual friends. If all the mutual friends are Isogenics, still not friending you, right? All of a sudden I'll be like, oh my gosh, those are people that I, played soccer with 10 years ago. Or, oh my God, I worked at Macaroni Grill with those people, right? Or I start friending them. Here's the other thing. I start to get a little judgmental. I'm not going to lie. But not only am I looking at followers, amount of friends they have, I'm looking at people that look vibrant, look happy, look positive, look healthy. I'm not friending the person that's got all kinds of politic banter all over the wall. I don't have room for all the negative energy. I'm not friending the person that has 4 friends in a country I've never heard of. Judge their Facebook a little bit and be like, do they fit the Isogenics profile? Is this someone that I want to be friends with for real? And I literally just friend. Sometimes I get carried away because I start looking at their friends. I'm like, ooh, you've got cool friends, right? Friending these people. And that's it. I don't send them a message thank you for my friend request, no, literally of the thousands, I have done this, you guys, thousands. I think on a handful of times, someone has been like, hey, got your friend request. Do I know you? And what I say is, no, but Facebook suggested us as mutual friends, and I loved your profile, and I love to meet new people. Like, what do you do? And I just ask a question, right? But everybody kind of starts to accept their friends. But here's the thing. When you get really good at branding yourself on social media, when you are talking about the products, you're talking about your health, you know, you're sharing the opportunity, guess what? People are going to show up, and they're going to ask you, hey, I don't know if we know each other, but I've been following you on Facebook for like 6 months. Can you tell me more about what you're doing? Or like Chris was saying, if they start liking your stuff, I reach out. I'm like, hey, Roseanne, you've liked my last 3 posts. If you're at all curious about what I'm doing, I'd love to share with you. You know, like it goes both ways. But if I've friended someone and all of a sudden I see they're a negative Nancy, guess what? Unfriend. I don't care. I never knew them to begin with. But I've probably enrolled, no exaggeration, 50 people from Facebook that I never knew. But I met on Facebook. And I'll leave you one last thing with this. When you are branding yourself on social media and you want to be congruent and you want to be consistent, I do not remember the last time I went somewhere or out in Denver that I did not run into someone right now from Isogenics, either in my own team or the company, that it is so important. And I'm going to give you just literally a couple examples because you want to be congruent, but you also want to be prepared, and you want to be tall and bold and confident in what you're doing. So a few weeks ago, Jen Neely, who's on this call, we were out at a bar in Denver called STK. I was like, look at those girls' shoes. And she had these cute hot pink heels on, right? And I walked over, I interrupted her conversation, and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. And I was going to say I love her shoes because I really did. I wasn't even trying to recruit. I just really wanted to find out where to get her shoes. And she was like, oh my God, Lauren. And I was like, ugh. And I'm like looking at somebody else like, I don't know who this is. And she's like, do you do Isogenics? She's like, I'm in all of your pages. And I was like, oh goodness, you know, like, hi, like trying to get out of it. Today I went to yoga and I sit down and this girl's like looking at me and I'm like, hi. And she's like, is your name Lauren? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh, I went to one of your Wind Down Wednesday things a long time ago. Like so-and-so brought me. And I'm like, you just got to be prepared. But if you are consistent, guess what? You're going to show up places. They're going to remember you. So brand yourself, friend people, allow them to come to you. When they start liking them, go to you. So Kisa, you rocked it. Chris, thank you for sharing your story. Kelsey, if you're still on here, thank you for sharing the story. And Tracy, I didn't know we were cruelty free. That makes me want to go put that cream all over me tonight before I go to bed because I'm sunburnt from yesterday. So you guys, thank you all. Good night. I have an 8:30, so I'm going to close this and get the recording up. But amazing job. Thank you all for making the time to be on here tonight. Grab celebration tickets. It's selling out. Less than 2,000 left, maybe even less. Buy celebration tickets. Get everybody you want to go see Tony Robbins. Way cooler than Maroon 5. Bye.